Good morning. Kirk County Commissioners Court is now in session. It is Monday, March the 28th, 9 o'clock in the morning. And if you would, please rise for pledge and prayer to be led by Commissioner Gibson.
Bow our heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we pray for rain. We pray for the safety of those fighting the fires and for the fires to come. We particularly pray for the families and the civilians and the soldiers of Ukraine, and for the refugees, millions of refugees that have been pushed out of that country. We thank you for this civil meeting of minds to discuss things we may disagree upon, but can handle in a civil manner. Thank you for this beautiful hill country. We ask for these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. I'm not going to make any reference to the length of the docket today because I don't want to jinx it.
Good. Close enough.
And we all know what that means.
Yes.
Remind everybody to turn your cell phones to vibrate or off. And then we go to the first part of our agenda, which is always the public input. Now, I did see where Mr. McKnight, I don't see him out here, had written a special prayer for the Ukraine. I'd like to call him up if he wanted to read the prayer for us from public input, but since he's not here, we'll just, if you're watching Mr. McKnight, please come and we'll let you read the prayer here as public input. Is there anybody else that has any public input for the court? There being none, we'll go on to commissioners' comments. Precinct 1.
Like everybody else, I kept up with, or tried to keep up with what the firefighters were doing, and I stayed in touch with the Turtle Creek guys, and I know they have to do the assessment. I was talking to Dub about it on the way in, but thankful that it wasn't worse than it was. So we certainly need rain, and I think everybody's got the burn ban on now, so countywide.
And so that the public knows, we had a fire in every precinct, I think, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, we had a small one recently, but
the horizon's in your precinct.
yeah, that's right.
One.
We had one just from a burn barrel. So it's dry enough that if you got a burn barrel in the backyard, you're watching it with a water hose. This guy nearly caught his neighbor's place on fire last week. So you got to be careful.
Precinct 2 had a good one too.
Yeah.
I have nothing more to add to that. Be careful out there.
That was a mower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard that was on when it started out.
Okay.
And then the biggest one, I think you had.
I had the biggest one. Not that I'm glad to hear that.
I was glad it's across the road from your place.
Yeah, it was it was very close to Nadine Offers. Sagawitz and across Wilson Creek burned quite a bit of, I don't know, Doug has acreage, quite a bit of acreage.
About 300, wasn't it?
I think it's
60.
160. Better than what we anticipated.
yes.
And what started?
I understand it
That
was
was the
shredder.
lawnmower. That was the lawnmower.
That was the
Shredder,
one,
shredder.
center point. Okay.
It was, and I will say, hats off.
Just
I
a
know-
spark. It hit
Yeah.
a rock.
Right.
Spark.
All it takes.
All it takes.
Muffler.
And also, hats off to J3. They sent 3 bulldozers to that fire. And Forest Service had 2 bulldozers come in and a helicopter with water, and DPS had aircraft overhead. So there's a lot going on there. And hats off to the volunteer fire departments. Every one of them from Kirk County, and quite a few from Kendall County were there. Maybe from some others. But I was over there for a while at the command center, and I saw the divides truck drive by a couple of times. They had a heck of a truck out there in Divide. I think it was monster looking. But anyway, hats off to them. And on a little different note, Kirk County received notice as the insurance pool administrator that we recognized for 2021 we had 0 lost time from workers' compensation. So good for our employees. Really, the 2 largest departments that this is a really big deal is the sheriff's department and the road bridge department. So
Sure.
to get through a year with 0 hours lost for workers' compensation is a accomplishment.
So that's the silver lining to COVID, apparently. We weren't hearing nothing happening.
And for taxpayers, that means our rates stay low. It's very important. That's it.
Good deal.
I
Well,
thought
you
you
know,
were, I drove up to volunteer fire department on Saturday, because there are all these sirens going up and down 39. What a fire, I couldn't find any smoke. It was motorcycles, cars.
where at?
Huh?
Where at?
The other side, huh?
Oh, okay. Well, again, the fires, you know, are devastating. Everybody was involved as far as our VFDs, and again, hats off to these guys. They're heroes on the front lines. Also, a lot of different departments come together to chip in, whether it be TxDOT or
And we had
whoever
several,
else.
Gillespie County too.
Yeah, without a doubt, they all
On
like
479.
And of course, you know, to our south, Medina County have their own hands
Yeah, they had
tied up. I
thousands.
mean, they're still working on that. It's just that time. And talking to Brian Alexander this morning, these big ones were caused by accident. You know, one was a shredder, I believe, another one's a riding lawnmower. Brian said they didn't lose any structures, but the fires were awful close to a couple of them. And the guys got there just in the nick of time. I think maybe one of them was on a carport, and they were able to extinguish it and save the structures. So it's tough, and they're babysitting them today to make sure they don't flare back up. And who knows? You know, the guys are running on low because you know, they're tired. They helped with the one in the east part of the county, all the guys from the west, and then everybody went over to the west end of the county, and they're tired. And no telling what's around the corner. Conditions are still there. You know, these March winds are hell. I hope we get April showers. So that's what we need. Oh, one other thing on a happier note, I rode along on a Meals on Wheels deal last week, and God, those people do a good job, and the people that receive these things are so appreciative, and it's almost like a welfare check for a lot of it, more so than the meals, to just check on people. These guys get to know them, they know their little quirks or whatever as far as what they need. Heck, they can carry the trash out for them if they need to, you know, and it's a good deal. So I'm glad we support that. I'm glad I had the opportunity to ride along. That's it.
Well, let me echo that, because I rode with Friday morning.
Mhm.
I know Jody did. And Sonia Hood was there. Exceptional time. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I'd walk up, and the guy I was working with Ed, he introduced me as the county judge, and they'd say, "Is your job to keep him out of jail?" I said, "Yep." But they say, and they tell me, it says, "So the county judge came out delivering meals? Sheriff was here last week." Yeah. So,
Good stuff.
yeah, really worthwhile doing. The other thing is, just to echo what y'all are talking about with your volunteer fire departments, every precinct needs to be proud of the way these volunteer fire departments work together and how they've covered each other's back. And my shout out I want to give to Doug and to Sheriff, because I'm out driving around chasing fires, trying to see where all they're burning, and I'm getting texts, I'm getting calls, I'm kept up to speed, what percent's contained, how many vehicles we've had on this one, and it was a seamless effort, truly a seamless effort. So I want to congratulate the emergency management staff too.
Not every county has one.
I know,
So it's really good that we have an emergency management coordinator.
and we talk to one another,
Yeah.
so all good. Okay, let's move on to our consideration agenda. Doug?
Doug,
Sir,
he wanted to give us a little broader update, I think.
I'm going to do the update on the fires.
Yep. We're talking about it.
Might as well, yes, sir. Good morning, Judge, morning, Commissioners. Kind of update y'all on both the big fires over the weekend. Most of this, Judge Kelly was given in an email, Sheriff got it as well, via text, like you said, text, phone call, whatever I can do to keep them updated. On March 26th, this past Saturday, we had the Sackwoods fire, which burned about 160 acres. First home out was at 12:43 for the volunteer fire departments. And again, the ignition source was a lawnmower muffler, and lawnmower burnt to the ground as well. Assets utilized, we had 80 personnel, 35 apparatuses. Texas Forest Service was there with a helicopter and 2 dozers, the 3 dozers from J3. We had Center Point Volunteer Fire Department, Turtle Creek, Mountain Home, Divide, Hunt, Ingram, Alamo Springs, Comfort, Waring, and Bernie. There were some, we had 3 off-duty Kerrville Fire Department guys that were there as well. Our TDM District Coordinator, Summer Ray, was on scene. Red Cross provided snacks and drinks. Mini Mart, I can't say enough about Mini Mart. The Mini Mart folks, Razor Dobbs and his wife, were running around giving water to everybody and pizzas and taking care of folks till we could get the Red Cross there. TxDOT, including Kerrville Road and Bridge, provided fuel. There was another fuel provider there out of Bernie as well. And we had several citizens came to aid to move livestock, horses, cattle, move them around, get them out of the path of the fire. As far as losses go, we lost a barn, a pump house, 2 stock trailers. No homes were lost. And Comfort Volunteer Fire Department lost a drop tank that was struck by a vehicle right at Antelope Road and I forgot the name of the street, but it was right there at the corner. Somebody came in to move horses, and when they pulled out, livestock trailer caught it, tore up their, destroyed their drop tank. Sunday morning, the fire had jumped the fire line in 3 different places, but it didn't get very far. Texas Forest Service and others were able to put it out. And so far, 3 more engine crews, yesterday, 3 more engine crews that were assigned to the Texas Forest Service dozers showed up. Comfort Volunteer had a tender on site for water supply, and by order of the Texas Forest Service chief yesterday, the fire was supposed to have been 100% contained. Well, they didn't quite make it because they're still there this morning. Today, Texas Forest Service still has 2 dozers and 5 engine crews on scene to mop it up. So sometime today, I believe, that fire should be completely out. Part of the issue with that fire is the cedar was so thick. I mean, you couldn't hardly move anywhere without running into cedar. And some of it we couldn't get to. I don't think you could hooked up all the water hoses together and still got into some of those fires. Yesterday, Sunday, March 27th, we had the Crooked Creek fire, which burned about 125 acres. First tone out for that fire was at 3:26 p.m. and again, the ignition source was a lawnmower. Assets utilized, 48 people, 24 apparatus, 2 Texas Forest fixed wing with fire retardant, 1 air attack, 2 personal dozers. Salvation Army again provided meals, snacks, and drinks. Excuse me, TxDOT supplied fuel. Harper, Doss, Mountain Home Volunteer Fire Department, Divide, Ingram, Center Point, Turtle Creek, Tierra Linda, Fredericksburg, were the volunteer fire departments on scene. I heard Junction was there, but I never saw them. They may have been on the west end of it working it. Several residents came through and supplied water for trucks for firefighting, fuel and water, as well as pizza. Some of the losses, several personal items were lost in a person's yard, like the judge said. No homes were lost. Code Red was initiated for evacuations because we had 14 homes that were threatened, but fortunately the VFDs got there and got them put out long before any of the structures could catch fire. It's unknown if we ever had any evacuations. We did a Code Red. When I got there were a lot of people standing around that weren't volunteer firemen, so you couldn't tell who was evacuated and who was just there to watch. Excuse me. The fire was called contained at about 8:12 p.m. and mop-up operations began along the fire lines. And again, this morning, Mountain Home is back out there to evaluate the scene and continue mopping up. So, any questions on anything?
Excellent work.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
I'll be back in a minute.
You can back to community garage now.
Well, I have a question. What in the heck are people mowing? Why would you start a mower right now?
You know, I'm starting to think maybe we need a lawnmower ban and not just a burn.
There's nothing to mow.
Well, when you get out there and look at it, some of that grass is
Yeah.
2 feet
Right,
deep or
right.
higher.
It's
So,
just unmowed grass from the fall.
you know,
That
those,
stuff's too high for a mower anyway.
well,
I agree.
when you've got low humidities that are running 8% in the afternoon, high winds, and a big fuel load, it's a recipe for a big fire.
You're not talking about a big mower then. We're talking about something that.
Just a riding lawnmower.
And we had we had a lot of motorcycles in the county this weekend. They had Thunder in the Hills. And I worry about the random cigarette butt that gets thrown off the back of a motorcycle going down the highway. Just the little things. It doesn't take much to start one of these fires.
Yes, sir. And I'd like to reiterate some of the things y'all said about the volunteer fire departments. They've done an outstanding job over the weekend. I know I'm tired, but I know those guys are tired because they've been working those trucks and they've been actively working the fire. There's 2 things the volunteer fire departments need. One of them's people and the other one's money. And the cost of fuel today, I can assure you that this is killing their budgets. So if anybody would like to donate to their volunteer fire departments, I wholly support that.
Don't wait till year end, do it now.
Don't wait till the year end, do it now. They need the money now. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to consideration agenda item 1.1 is a presentation by Sharon Blankenship, Human Resources Consultant for the Southwest Region of TAC, regarding training schedule for April the 12th at Hill Country Youth Event Center and other training opportunities and resources offered by TAC. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Again, as the Judge said, my name is Sharon Blankenship. I am the TAC HR consultant for the Southwest region. I joined TAC at the end of November of 2020, so right during COVID. It was an interesting transition. I was in Guadalupe County prior to that for 13 years, served as the HR director for the last 2 years prior to coming to TAC. But I just wanted to come and introduce myself to you today and let you know that I am here as a resource for all your elected officials and your HR director when it comes to dealing with any employee issues that may arise within your county. One of the services I also provide is doing training for your department heads and elected officials on different subjects like hiring and firing, terminations, documentation, which as we all know is very, very important, and also harassment training in addition to others. We do triangle training, etc. I did recently provide harassment training for your sheriff's office back in December for their supervisors. That was very well attended. And again, I just, like I said, wanted to let you know who I am, and I hope that if there's anything I can ever do for any of you, that you would please reach out to me and give me a call. And I've got some business cards that I'll hand out to you with my contact information on there.
And just to remind everybody at home, we use these acronyms like everybody understands them because we work in the government long enough. We use acronyms. TAC is the Texas Association of Counties.
Yes, sir.
It is our insurer.
Yes, sir. Y'all are members
We work
of.
very closely with them.
And congratulations on your distinguished honor there on the no losses. That's fantastic. And as you said, Commissioner, that does help to keep your contribution costs down for being members of the pool. Definitely. Also wanted to let you know that we will, I will be providing harassment training for your rest of the elected officials in the county in April, on April the 12th, I believe is the date, at the Hill Country Center, and I would invite you all to attend. There have been some changes in the last legislative session that does affect supervisors when it comes to claims of sexual harassment, and that is one of the items that I do go over in that training, which is very important for any person that's in a supervisory role to be aware of.
Very good. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you very much.
Let's move on to item 1.2, which is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding the authorization to issue requests for proposals, RFPs, as we call them, for administrative services and requests for qualifications, RFQs, for engineering services related to hazard mitigation assistance.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Our hazard mitigation plan is set to expire in December of 2023. If you'll remember 5 years ago, we started a little bit over 5 years ago, we were working on our hazard mitigation plan. It's required by FEMA. If we don't have a hazard mitigation plan, we're not eligible for hazard mitigation funds, period. We're looking at getting another grant for the hazard mitigation funds, or the hazard mitigation grant. And I'm going to pull those numbers out. In talking with GrantWorks, our hazard mitigation plan, the total cost is $152,000. If we get the grant, it'll be a 75-25 split. The federal government or FEMA would pay $114,000 of that. The 25% would be $38,000, which would be split up amongst the 10 jurisdictions that are in that mitigation plan. So you have Kirk County, Kerrville, City of Ingram, all school districts, UGRA, Shriner University, and Peterson Regional Hospital are all in that mitigation plan. So split up, that would be $3,800 per jurisdiction, equally splitting the cost of that 25%. So what we're asking is if we can get the RFP approved for the mitigation grant, and so we can get started on this in this process. It'll take us about 1.5 years to complete the mitigation plan itself.
So you're asking us to approve submission of an RFP and an RFQ?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the RFP and RFQ for hazard mitigation assistance grant programs. Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 5-0.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Item 1.3, Mr. Reed's at the back of the room there. This is consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve the central counting station personnel. And this would be a presiding manager or judge, which would be Nadine Alford, an alternate judge, Jana Henderson, tabulating supervisor, Sierra Kinsel, assistant tabulating supervisor, Sunita Tejeda, clerk, Mimi Valverde, clerk, Cindy Hernandez, clerk, Teresa Walker, clerk, Julie Lotta, and a clerk/SOS data entry, Missy Andres, clerk/SOS data entry, Jamie McClintock, website, Bruce Mother. Mr. Reeves.
Yes, sir. Judge, Commissioners, good morning. You pretty well covered what I was needing. This is in accordance with Chapter 127.005 of the Texas Election Code. This will be for the May 7th election. Normally, I do not have to come to you for the May election, but due to the constitutional amendments, I do seek your approval as the judge read.
Move for approval. Second.
There's a typo on the name, though.
Yes, there's Scrivener's error. It should be Missy Anders.
Anderson. Okay. Okay. So, we've got a motion and a second to approve the central counting station personnel as presented. Correct?
That is correct.
The correction, that's Missy Anders.
That is correct.
Okay. Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. 5-0. Item 1.4, consider, discuss, and approve consolidating the polling locations in accordance with Chapter 43 of the Texas Election Code for the May 7 constitutional amendment election. Mr. Reeves.
Yes, sir. At this election, Texas Election Code requires at least one polling location in each commissioner's precinct. The polling locations for precincts number 101, 107, 109, 113, 118, 119 will be the River Hills Mall. Precincts 202, 211, 215, 220, the Union Church at 101 Travis Street. 303, 308, 312, and 314 will be at the Callow Theater, 910 Main Street in Kerrville. And the voting location for the precincts 404, 405, 406, 410, 416, and 417 will be the City West Church, 3139 Junction Highway in Ingram, These locations have also been agreed to by the other entities that are also conducting elections on May 7th. Respectfully request that the court approve these locations.
I move for approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve these polling locations for the May 7th election as presented. Any discussion?
Is there early voting for that election?
Yes, sir, there will be early voting at the Callow Theater and at the Ingram ISD administration offices on College Street. And with both of those, you can, if you so desire, Commissioner, you can drive to Ingram and early vote.
When does it start?
It starts April 25th. April 25th through April 27th will be 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Thursday, April 28th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday, April 29th, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Excuse me. May 2nd, May 3rd, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Thank you.
That was approved at a prior meeting.
Okay. Do we vote on this one already? No? Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 5-0.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Item 1.5, consider discussion and take appropriate action regarding county policy for political displays at the courthouse.
Okay. Everybody saw how it stuck in my craw, this Ukraine thing, and lighting up the building. And I don't think we should light up the building with any political statements or anything else unless we're going to put it out there on the corner with special permission. County attorney has shared with me our policy as it exists right now. And all I want to add to this is that we have no political displays on the courthouse. If we want to have a political display on the courthouse and light it up red, white, and blue, I'm fine with that. But not the colors of Poland or Ukraine or Mexico or any other place except the good old USA. Red, white, and blue is also consistent with the Texas flag, so I'm fine with that. But I don't think we should politicize our courthouse, and we should add that to our policy. And we've had all kinds of stuff on the corner out there. And by the way, if we want to have domestic violence lights or something else that's not a political statement, that's, a national adoption week, I don't care, whatever the color is. I don't think we ought to do it anyway, but, that corner has been out there traditionally as a place for people to make their statement. Obviously, you can do things on the courthouse lawn because of freedom of speech. We don't need to participate in virtue signaling and having somebody else's colors on our courthouse. If Ingram goes to state finals, light it up red. I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
And black.
And black. Red, black, and white. Light it up. But you know what I mean? Let's just keep the politics off our courthouse, please.
You got Tabby and Comfort. Blue gold.
I know. And I hope that's what everybody thinks when they see it.
What does our current policy say?
It doesn't address that. It doesn't really address the lighting of the courthouse. It addresses affixing signs to the courthouse and, let me see.
I have it in front of me if you'd like for me to.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can't read it.
I need to get my glasses too. There are several provisions of this, but the ones that I pointed out to Harley on Friday were these: that uses of county courthouse grounds may not violate local, state, or federal law. The time, place, and manner of use of courthouse grounds may be subject to reasonable, content-neutral limitations and/or restrictions. And that's really, it's a traditional public forum, so that complies with any jurisprudence having to do with traditional public forums. And no signs, placards, or visual displays may be carried into the courthouse. Inside the building, no signs, placards, or visual displays may be attached to any part of the courthouse grounds, including but not limited to walls, fence, lampposts, flagpoles, trees, etc., except as approved by the county judge. So those would address this. And
Which puts it on you, which I didn't realize till I read this. And But we traditionally, people have come and talked to the whole court, whereas a lot of it just falls to you. And I think you agree with me that we shouldn't politicize our courthouse. I think everybody here agrees, and I may be wrong, but
I'm talking about political issues,
yeah.
you know?
I don't.
Civic groups and stuff like that, I'm fine with them.
I don't know. I agree with what you're saying, Commissioner. I'm not sure this is a political statement to me. To me, it's a recognition of a tragedy that's happened. I mean, it's not a Republican or a Democratic statement one way or the other, or independent or green or independent or
right or anything else.
It's not. To me, it's not a political statement. I agree.
Are we gonna, here's the question then. Are we going to, everything that pops up, wherever it is, the next time they have a problem in Pakistan, or they have a problem in Bolivia, are we gonna light up our courthouse with that stuff? I think we should stay out of that. It doesn't concern us. We have no say-so in it, and there's no reason for the courthouse to become some kind of tableau for whatever the cause du jour may be. It just irritates the living hell out of me.
And they can still go to the corner out there.
I don't get excited about a lot of things. This is just wrong as it can be, in my opinion.
What is the literal definition of virtue signal? That kind of scares me.
It's putting on a little wristband and forgetting that anything's happening. It's showing everybody you care, but you don't show up and help out as a volunteer. You don't send any money. You don't do anything except show that you're concerned. Instead of spending money on light bulbs that people are doing, send that money to the Ukrainian refugees. Do something. But then nobody would know you did it because you wrote a check and sent it in the mail. So you got to light up your house, and that's virtue signal.
This issue, I would support what you're saying, no other countries, something like that. I don't even, I can go along with that, because that does make sense to me. But I think we need to bring the policy in and modify the policy.
I agree.
And, it's not ruling anybody out. They still got the corner out there.
Right. And that's what I
They can
suggested
ask
that
for it. And one thing more, when we did this 2 weeks ago, I didn't envision how easy this is. It's just a matter of reprogramming it, because those LED lights, it wasn't changing any light bulbs, or it wasn't a big deal for maintenance or anything like that, probably 5 minutes at the most.
That's why I want a policy, because it's as easy as a switch.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want this looking like something different every week.
Yeah.
Literally, honestly, if we're gonna do a week for Ukraine and forget about it, then we can do a week for something else and a week for something else. And right now the flag is at half staff. Anybody know why? No. This stuff happens continually and nobody knows what the heck's going on, and I don't want us to get involved in it too. Kirk County everybody else can go to hell in a handbasket. I'm here to protect Kirk County.
Was that a motion?
Well, I think
that we would change the policy.
How would you like to change the policy? Because the policy says they can come and ask the county judge, but historically what's happened since the policy is put in place is they come talk to y'all as a body, and y'all approve it or deny it. And so I don't know what would change in the policy to stop that. The policy already speaks to civic organizations and their historical use of courthouse grounds and schools, like Ingram Tidy, Center Point. They want to come and do those things.
Then I would say a couple of things.
Okay.
One is that we not put foreign countries' colors on our courthouse, and that we not have political displays.
What's wrong with leaving it where it is, that is at the discretion of the county judge?
Because this could happen again.
I agree with the foreign country thing. That's
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And honestly, you get a bigger bang for your buck out there on the corner
I think
than
so,
somebody driving by and seeing some colors on different colors and wondering, what the heck's that about?
Exactly.
And if you just reference political displays, I don't want to inadvertently in our policy fly in the face of all of the all of the historical permissions for a traditional public forum that is the courthouse grounds.
No, I wouldn't want to do that. I just don't want a foreign country's colors lighting up our courthouse.
It'd be specific. I think you can do it just like that.
No, it's not that simple, because I don't want it rainbow colored either because of a political group. And I don't want it to do this color this week and that color next week because of political groups.
I agree.
Actually, what we could do is say we will light up the courthouse at Christmas and 4th of July and certain days with the appropriate colors, and that would be the easiest way to deal with
I
it.
think so.
Everything else is off limits.
Okay, that's fine too.
I like that.
Consistent. Red, white, and blue on those days.
Or
Christmas
Christmas
and
green
green.
with him.
Red.
And then let it alone.
So, during the Christmas season, during the 4th of July, during Texas Independence, what was the third thing you just said?
Texas Independence, that's red, white, and blue also.
Total state holidays.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Yeah, that would cover
But
it.
just so that we're clear, there are a lot of good causes that we have supported.
Yes.
And domestic violence is one of them, and they're purple. But at the same time, I don't want to have to make the decisions of, do you have the right life group, do you have the,
I know.
all of this stuff. I don't want to get drawn into that.
So how y'all address that when the policy was adopted is, there have been certain civic organizations that have traditionally posted things, or even our own animal services who have posted things out here at particular times of year. So those are reserved for those organizations. So if that was something that the county's been doing for however long they've been doing that, the signs for the domestic violence awareness, y'all have done for as long as I've been here. If that was something y'all wanted to include in a list, you already have a sort of list that we can add the lighting to. But if the domestic violence was something you wanted to include in that list, as part of that awareness month that it is.
I would prefer taking everything out except those holidays, and then that corner out there is, I agree with Commissioner Harris and the county attorney, that's the best spot. Just, you can say whatever you want.
That's free speech corner.
Free speech
Pretty
corner,
much,
basically. Let them, and it does a lot more bang for the buck out there.
That's right.
Hey,
We see the ribbons and the other stuff.
And they still come, even if it's not already in our list, and sometimes even it is, they still come to you all for
They
permission.
still come before the court.
Yeah, I don't,
I really think we're talking about a lighting issue more than anything.
I guess the light is what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I suggested that day, if you'll remember, that they put
Okay.
a statement on the corner out there. Not do the lighting up of the building.
I just don't know, I'm not sure I'm comfortable calling it a free speech corner because
Well,
I think it needs to be approved by the court.
I agree with you.
I'll draft something and bring it back to y'all. I'll share it with you and bring it back to you guys, and make sure that it's something you like for the court to adopt. Also, the flag is half staff for Madeline Albright, who passed away.
That was what I was afraid of. So how far down the list do you work? You know?
In defense of Madeline Albright, and I know she's not necessarily politically popular here in her county, but in San Francisco, I forget the name of the museum, they have her pin collection, the brooches and stuff that she got.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I was impressed that she did all that.
San Francisco's a good place for that.
She was the first woman.
I know what she
Oh,
was,
yeah.
but that's going too far down the list. When are we gonna stop lowering the flag to half staff because some bureaucrat died? I've just had enough of all of it.
I agree with you.
Well, that would come from feds.
I know we didn't do it here, I get it. You know, half the time we don't know who it is that died or what the problem is when the flag is at half staff. People are gonna pass this courthouse, they're gonna see blue and gold and think Tybee is in playoffs somewhere. And it's gotten ridiculous.
So is there a motion for the,
Just that we were.
No,
just that it's gonna
We're
come back?
refer to the county attorney to come back with a
Revised
revised policy
Yeah.
that we would follow.
Okay, you got it.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank y'all for indulging me.
It's part of the job, part.
I'll be okay later.
Let's move on to item 1.6. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve a $50 donation from a citizen to the Sheriff's Equipment Fund.
Judge and Commissioners, I'm looking for your approval to accept $50 donation from a private citizen for our Sheriff's Equipment Fund.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the $50 donation to the Sheriff's Equipment Fund. Any discussion? Those in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Item 1.7, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to surplus items to Kerr County Sheriff's Office, Extension Office, and Maintenance Department, and shelter.
Yes, you have a list of the items that are being requested to be surplused. It just needs a motion and acceptance.
Make the motion to accept.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to accept the surplus items identified and presented here. Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 5-0. Item 1.8, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action whether to allow the retail fireworks permit holders to sell fireworks to the public in celebration of San Jacinto Day pursuant to a Texas occupation code.
Is this something we have to vote to let them do it, or you
Yes.
vote to not let them do it?
You'd have to vote to let them do it at this point.
This always brings up
This is
our rockets with.
Yeah.
We can prohibit all
Well,
of them.
with the fires, why do we want to do this right
We
now?
don't need to.
I agree, but it's a sticky situation because I looked at the Keach Barham status and we're not to the point where we could eliminate it.
That
But I
one
will-
doesn't matter for this in
For this one?
particular, because it's not the 4th of July and.
Okay, that only falls for those
Yes,
main
well,
ones?
this one you would just have to permit. If you were going to deny for the other holidays, the Keach Byram index
Comes
has to
in,
be
okay.
whatever number that you have looked up.
We can stop this one.
But
Yes.
this one you
I
can
don't want to
stop.
invite any more fires. all
Right, this one you can stop.
And we have to vote to stop it?
Nope, you just don't have to
Don't
permit
do
it.
anything.
Okay, let's pass it.
And I can tell you that the big one, the church group in Ingram, I called them the other day and they're not even planning on opening it up.
Well, that's because they got good common sense.
Yes. But nobody recognizes, it's sort of like the deal, nobody knows about it and celebrates it.
And the other thing, correct me if I'm wrong, County Attorney, on that, but we can declare a state of emergency that overrides.
Yes.
That.
Those other dates?
Those
Yes,
dates.
you
And I'm
can.
sitting on
With
that
the
bench
ground.
right now.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's all the items we have before the time items begin at 10 o'clock. We'll take a break and come back at 10 o'clock. Office job description and grade. Ms. Goss.
Judge, can I ask that we pass on this, because HR and I are not in agreement with the job description that you have?
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Then we'll pop our auditor back up. We'll go with the approved agenda. 2.1, which are budget amendments.
Yes, we have two budget amendments this week. They're both line item adjustments, and one is just, we had notices that were required by law, and then the other one is just because the dues or licenses were a little bit higher than anticipated.
Move for approval.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the budget amendments as presented. Any discussion?
Yeah, who was lacking $117 in the budget? Is that what it is? Is that what?
117.
150?
Yes,
Well, the request was for 150.
yes, they needed.
Short that kind of money?
Yes, it's a small budget to begin with. It's only a $600 budget to begin with, so they needed additional $150.
Okay. It just didn't seem like enough to come for a request.
The laws say that y'all's budget must be followed, and anything that's above that should have y'all's prior approval.
Sure.
Okay, so those, go ahead.
Right.
So those in favor of the budget amendments as presented, raise your hand. Unanimous. Moving on to 2.2, which is paid bills.
Invoices for today's consideration, $804,172.44.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve payment of the bills. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. 2.3, late bills.
There are not any.
2.4, auditor reports.
There are not any.
2.5, monthly reports.
Yes, very short. For February 2022, Treasurer's Monthly Report, Tracy Sullivan. I move for approval.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the reports as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. And then we'll go on to 2.6, court orders.
We have our court orders from our March 14th meeting, number 39230 through 39246. They all look to be in order. Move for approval.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the court orders as presented. Any discussion? In favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Move on to the information agenda, 3.1, status reports from department heads. There being none, move on to 3.2, status reports from elected officials.
This isn't really a status report. I just wanted to give thanks for the life and service of Buster Baldwin, who passed away since your last hearing.
Buster will be missed. And his sense of humor, very unique.
Without doubt.
We'll go on to item 3.3, status reports from the liaison commissioners.
I have one, tomorrow is National Vietnam War Veterans Day.
Well, I have one. I am canceling my probate docket this week to try to catch up. We've had some change in personnel for probate clerk. And I'm going to have to go back and start doing a lot of the stuff myself, which it's okay. But I need to do that. So I'm canceling my probate docket this week. We should be back on track. I'm really talking to the probate bar out there. We should be back on track about the docket on the 14th. But the dockets for April the 14th and the 28th probably will be a little bit shorter and maybe simpler. There's a school, I think, in the first week in May. And I'm looking to be able to work with the county clerk's office and train and cross-train a couple of people that can handle the probate, because that's one of the most important things that we do. And I'm just letting everybody know that we're doing the best we can.
We have a very skilled administrative deputy clerk who has trained the past probate clerks, and I look forward to working with you on that.
Okay, any other reports from liaison commissioners? Okay, now we'll take a break and come back to the clock. Back to order. We have our 10 o'clock docket. The first thing we have is item 1.9. This is a public hearing. I call the public hearing to order for a revision of plat for Ingram Hills subdivision, tract 59. Is there anyone here to appear for that public meeting? There being none, then we will adjourn the public meeting and move on to item 1.10, which is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to the court to approve a revision of plat for Ingram Hills subdivision, tract 59. Charlie Hastings.
Thank you, Judge. This proposal revises the western half of Ingram Hills, tract 59. It's 10.17 acres as platted. This tract was previously divided into two separate tracts without revising the plat. This plat revision will correct matters for the western half of tract 59. It will be known as tract 59W and will front Ingram Hills Road. And we just had a public hearing on this. No one spoke at the public hearing. The county engineer requests the court approve a revision of plat for Ingram Hills, tract 59, volume 3, page 149, precinct 4.
I move for approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the revision of plat for Ingram Hills subdivision, tract 59, 59 west. Any other discussion? There being none, those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 5-0. Moving on to item 1.11, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action for the court to approve a revision of plat for Hidden Springs Phase 1, lots 20 and 21, precinct 3, Charlie Hastings.
Thank you, Judge. This proposal combines Lot 20, currently 5.4 acres, and Lot 21, currently 5.29 acres, into Lot 20A, 10.69 acres. Road frontage will remain on Inspiration Loop and Phlox Trail. The public hearing was held a few weeks ago, February 28, 2022. It's just the owners weren't ready to sign the document and have it on the same day for you guys to approve it. But we've got it here today, and the county engineer requests the court approve a revision of plat for Hidden Springs Phase 1, lots 20 and 21, plat file 18-03295. This is precinct 3.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the revision of plat for Hidden Springs Phase 1, lots 20 and 21, and 20A. Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Next item is 1.12, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action for the court to set a public hearing for 10 a.m. on May the 9th, 2022, for a revision of plat for Paloma Ranch, lots 10 and 12. This is precinct 4. Charlie Hastings.
This proposal combines lots 10 and 12. They're currently 5.01 acres each into lot 10A, 10.02 acres. The road frontage will remain on Paloma Ranch Road. Paloma Ranch Road is currently under construction, so the plat was filed. We have a letter of credit on hand, and the subdivision is under construction. But the person who bought those two lots wants to put them together so that they can build right in the middle of it. The county engineer requests the court set a public hearing for 10 a.m. on May 9th, 2022 for a revision of plat for Paloma Ranch, lots 10 and 12, plat file 21-10485, precinct 4.
I move for approval.
Second. A motion and a second to approve the revision of plat for Paloma Ranch, lots 10 and 12. Any discussion?
Comment, this and the last one are two of the examples I think we ought to, in our new rules, make a local exception that if you're combining lots, you do not need to come in for set a public hearing, to wait our time, the public time.
Sure. I agree. I think I tried to interview Charlie and say if we figured out why we did this.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good.
It's not currently in our revised rules, is it?
No, sir. We would need that for our attorney to add in a local exception.
Get ready to talk about people. So we have to take a vote though?
Yes.
Yeah.
And those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 5-0. And the only thing we've got is the addendum, which is item 1.14, which is to consider, discuss, take appropriate action regarding input and formatting of the revised draft subdivision rules and regulations. I got a call from Chuck Kimbrough. I was driving home, it was about 4:30 Thursday afternoon, and he's asking me what to do. We've had, and just to refresh the court, Chuck drafted very comprehensive proposed revised subdivision rules. And we talked about they're formatted differently than our existing subdivisions. And for ease of reference and knowing where things are in the rules, the suggestion was to let Charlie take his hand at trying to reformat the rules so they look like, feel like the old rules, but with the new rules substance in it. So he did that, and he did it exhaustively. In fact, he was absolutely worn out by the time he finished that. That's probably the most difficult thing he's done in his professional career. But, and so, in talking with Chuck, he wanted to know what it is that we want him to do at this point. Remember, he drafted them, and we had, one of the issues that we had, Beck and I were talking about this, right? We had the model subdivision rules slap down in the middle of the draft that Chuck did, which is not really particularly helpful. You know, we want to be able to tell people, hey, this is going to be the model subdivision rules, and they go right to them. And so, in visiting with Charlie and Chuck, but I need input from y'all, what I would recommend that we do is to get Charlie and Lee, who did it, our county surveyor, local, together with Chuck, conference call, however you want to do it, Zoom call, and go through and let Chuck take his draft of the rules, and Charlie and Lee take their reformatting of those rules, and go through and check, to make sure that we've got everything in there. And any last minute tweaks, such as this combination of lots that we just talked about, to get that in there so that they can come, and we don't necessarily have to have Chuck here in person, but we get all of them to give us the head nod that we have the contents of what we want in our revised rules in the familiar and comfortable format that we're accustomed to. And then once we get the thumbs up on that, we're ready to act.
I'm not,
ready to start noticing.
I don't think we're that far along yet.
Okay.
And I have not gone through line by line in Charlie's newest draft. But I'm not sure, but I know with Chuck's draft, there was a lot of things that I thought substantively were wrong, especially fire protection was one of them. And I'm not sure where we are on some of these, and I need to really look at it closely, because right now, the rules, and then Charlie and I talked about this, so he made it his draft and addressed it, but Chuck's rules had that if someone was gonna divide a lot, or do a smaller lot, 5 acres under a water system, in, these are 6 acre lots, say 2 6 acre lots, they had to put in a water suppression tank.
Oh,
2,500 gallon tank, which is ridiculous.
yeah.
So there's some things in there that we have to really look at very carefully as to what they are. So
I hear you, but what I want to do is line them up.
right,
I
agree with that.
I would like to see it in a format that we.
So that we can make these final decisions
I agree.
and have something to take to people. Because we have notices to post, there's a long vetting process that goes on, we're months away being able to have these enacted. But I'm ready to get the apple to apple comparison, make the final cuts the way we want, with the final revisions, and move along.
And I think Charlie and I talked exhaustively about him. So I think a lot of my things he may have in his final draft, but I still want.
And just to be clear, what I did was I took Chuck's work, copy, pasted it into ours where it made sense to put it, and it's red. It's bright red. Anything black letter, that was our rules up to as far as the court had approved the changes that we had been making internally over the years. So anything red, that's what Chuck put together, and I left it the way he worded it, even though I disagree with some of it. And Jonathan does too. Jonathan and I sat and we highlighted, we need, this. Well, it stands out now because it's red. So if we could go through it one more time as a body, or I like what the judge is saying, let the county surveyor, Lee Vogel, and myself, county engineer, meet with Chuck and go through and make sure that we have a document now that we can put in front of the court. If it's red, it came from Chuck. If it's black, it was already in there. And let's let's go through it line by line and let y'all tell us, okay, that needs to be stricken or that needs to be modified.
Well, I think the first thing we need is, we need to have the two lists. Your list, and Chuck's list, so that we, and then we'll find out what it is that we still want to work on revising or tweaking, from those two lists.
What we turned over to Chuck recently was supposed to be that. There was not supposed to, we gave him everything, all the changes we wanted, all the things that were supposed to be reworded and so on. So what is it that he's added?
Chuck hadn't added anything. What
Well,
happened?
then we gave him the changes.
He added a lot.
He added something then, yeah, because the last time we met and talked with him, we said, here are the changes we want. He says, I'll format them in there and get it all together, collate it and everything else. So what is the problem now? What's
The
wrong in
big
there?
difference, simply stated, and look at Charlie, weigh in on this. Chuck wrote the rules in a paragraph format.
Right.
More
So
like
it's
a
formatting
contract.
we're talking about.
Yeah, that's all
But
we're
it
talking
sounds
about.
like what Jonathan's saying, that there is extra wording or
Well,
change
no,
of
he's saying that we
meaning.
hadn't signed off on everything Chuck had in his draft.
Right, okay.
That we need to revisit, right?
Because I haven't seen this.
Chuck added a lot of wording that's very important that we did not have in our draft, and those are things of
Legal stuff.
legal and adoption and criteria and certain language in there that we did not have, that we needed to have.
Right.
And then you
But
had
that
something-
won't change what we're doing.
No.
It just protects the developer and the county.
Yeah. And the other thing,
Doing the right thing.
that at some point, we need to have a discussion on the water part of it. I'm very nervous by what we have in our rules, and here's why. We're basing it on connections at 432 gallons per minute, or per household. If you go to Kerrville South right now, Aqua-Texas has those for various systems. Their historical use ranges from, I think like 280 to 320 gallons per connection, depends on which they're using. So if somebody wants to go out and extend one of those water systems out there, and Aqua Texas says they have the water, the amount that's allotted, how do we say, well, no, you have to use this when the historical history tells them the number's this? And we may not be the one to be sued, it'll be, maybe it's Headwaters, but how does, it just makes me very nervous, I mean, that using that connection terminology.
That sounds like when you're on the road and the speed limit is 55, you can drive 40.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Well,
That's what it sounds like
I'm
you're
just
saying.
worried about it, I want our rules to, I don't want developers to find loopholes in it. And this is what got us into this concept got us into the issue at Center Point Village, where the water system said historical use in that next door was a lot lower than the 432. And if they have enough geographic area in these water systems to give the amount of water, can we legally say, well, no, you can't use your historical numbers, we're going to use this number, which is a average that the state has provided, or someone provided, I'm not sure where.
Why does the historical use come to bear on it anyway?
Well, I think that's a pretty good, number.
It may be a measuring stick, but it's not a rule.
But we're
I
adopting,
may be missing something here, but I don't know that it's.
and we may be okay on it, I'm just want to make sure that we're good with that. And Headwaters is still talking about it, from what I understand, talking to Headwaters.
Yeah.
They haven't settled on this yet.
Well, look, we need to fold these people into the discussion, okay?
Right.
There are a lot of interested people in public, members of the public, that want to be able to see where we are with this. And we need to have a public debate on how we're going to do this, because we're going to get it right this time.
Well, they're going to adjust downward. We know that, or I feel pretty secure that they're going to adjust.
We're going to want Headwaters to participate. And I have no reason at all not to think that we wouldn't want to check with Aqua-Texas.
Right. And I think we just need to make sure that the new rules are the same as our old rules right now on usage. It's 1.92, 972, is the divisible number versus 2. And we rounded it up last time. So they haven't changed their methodology or their science at all. Now, there is a little bit of difference in how we had some more lot size and density type issues, which I agree we can get rid of that. Concern is that I have is that we're not allowing too much water to be drawn per acre basically, based on the science that we have right now.
But that's the job of Edwin, not the county. They determine that number.
Right.
Okay. And the way the subdivision rules are written right now, you defer to them, and it's clearly stated in the subdivision, the new one, that we defer to the headwaters, groundwaters.
It's time to make those decisions. It's time to make those decisions. It's
I
time
thought
to
we
have-
determined that already. We've already decided on
We decided on the format, we haven't decided on the numbers.
it. But they decide on
They,
the headwaters.
yeah.
Headwaters comes up with that number because we don't have the means by which to do it. We don't have the engineering staff, we don't have any hydrology surveys or anything like that. So if I don't know the answer and the kid comes to me, I say, go ask your mama. And that is the way it goes. So we don't have the answer. We send them over there to headwaters, and that's the determining number. That's what we had talked about.
And that's what we've done in the past. That's what our last rule
All right.
did too.
So what difference does it make for us for the number? I'm not following your.
They're using a per connection number.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that is better than just saying you get X gallons per acre.
I
mean,
know,
that's-
but it's easier for the average person to follow. If you say per tap, here's how much you get.
But I think it's hard to defend. If someone's building a subdivision like Hidden Springs, or the Reserve, not precinct, $1 million homes in those parts. And say, okay, you're gonna get 432 gallons per connection. And someone's building a workforce housing 1,000 square foot home, they're gonna get the same amount. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, they're not gonna use as much.
I know.
The guy in the $1 million home with the fancy lawn and all that stuff, he's gonna use more anyway. So the guy who's in the workforce housing isn't gonna use all of what he's got allotted to him anyway. He's not gonna bottle it up and sell it to people, so he's just not gonna use it.
I think all this is very productive, but all I want to do is I want to get formats, I want to put them beside one another, and let's go through and knock these things out. We may take 5 workshops, I don't know, but we've got to do that hard work.
I agree.
Yeah.
So,
But the way to start it, though, I agree. I think we need the format, or
yeah.
it has some logic to it that you can put back and forth, go in and out. I had trouble following his patchwork. Yes.
Right.
I understand.
True.
And we understand that. But what I did, we've told Chuck that he's the ultimate arbiter of the law because we want to make sure that we've got something that is enforceable this time. Okay? So he's been telling us what we can legally do. And we got Charlie, who is being the engineer that he is, and looking at it says, I gotta get my dots lined up. We got it formatted so that you can find it. And I want to get that reconciled so that we know. And it looks like we were probably going to use the bullet point rather than the paragraph format.
Which would be preferable for probably everybody, most people.
But we need to instruct them that it's time for them to get together, get us the list, so we can finish these discussions.
I think it's a risk assessment on our standpoint. Chuck was writing rules, and his advice to us is gonna be as conservative as possible to keep us out of a lawsuit. You know, and then the other, it's like, so we don't mention the word density. Well, a lot of counties around us are so used to it, they just redid their rules in Kendall County. They're using the word density stuff. You know, and
we all know how much risk that is
I know, but
associated with that.
yeah, and that increases the risk. So is there a line between there that can be restricted? Kendall County and some of these other counties are going to 10 acre, or you need 10 acres for a well. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, how defensible is that? We're going to have to make a call on how much risk we're willing to take, because the further we go out there, we go from 5 to 10 acres, or Headwaters does. That's riskier, more prone to get a lawsuit. But, you know, it depends if you have the science to defend it. in parts of this county probably do.
Just a reminder, we worked on these rules last fall, if you recall, and we were hoping that we were going to be able to get them finalized for what we're proposing by early this year. Well, we're to the end of March, and we're not there. And so I need my worker bees to bring us something so that, well, you worked your tail off, let me tell you. And bring it to us and let us be able to have Chuck sign off on it and Charlie and they sign off at the same time so that we now know this is the universe that we want to work with. Now let's go through and make the final calls.
Agree.
And Chuck wants to do that, and Charlie wants to do that, and Lee wants to do that, and I want to authorize them to do it.
Good. We're agreeing.
Well, things are still gonna happen. We're being really, I mean, belt suspenders, and we told everybody March, and now it's gonna be April, it may be May. Just like the burn ban being on, we still had fires, right? So, don't expect,
Well,
yeah, this overly cautious, we might get sued, and that being the foremost, when we start thinking about how we develop the county, I think is misguided. If that's the first thought in everybody's mind, how are we gonna keep from getting sued versus how are we gonna deliver something to the taxpayers that they need? I think it's overly, it goes way beyond what I think is necessary. That's my 2 cents on it. I don't think that should be the first consideration, but it seems to be through this entire process and has dragged it all out because of fear of being sued. Lawsuit, lawsuit, lawsuit. That's all we've heard every step of this thing.
Well, we still gotta get a good comparison,
Yeah.
and that's the next step.
well, I'm just reminding everybody that tomorrow afternoon I have my first meeting with the auditor to start preparation of the budget. We've got a lot of work that we're gonna get distracted with. And I'm trying to get some of these things as projects complete. We're getting close.
That's what we said the last time we talked about this.
So,
My money's on June.
so we're all good in telling them, get together and bring
Yes.
straps to compare.
Yes.
Okay. So, with
Send an
that,
email.
pardon?
I'm sending an email to Chuck.
Okay.
To watch today.
I think he's watching.
And to give you a call, yeah.
And he instructed me to call him afterwards too, so I'll call him. But I think that's all we have on the agenda today. If that's the case, then we stand adjourned.